everyone. I'm John Spurgeon and I'm currently living in Canada working in agriculture. Today, I would like to share a few things about moving abroad after a bachelor's in agriculture in India, uh, what type of programs you can apply here, what, how to reach out to the professors, how to apply, and what type of jobs you'll find here after your studies. So, before that, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I studied my bachelor's in agriculture in India, and then I moved to masters to move to Canada for my masters, and I studied masters in plant science at McGill University, Canada. I completed my masters and I started working as a research associate in 2021, and I moved to supply chain in the same company and working as a commercial operations specialist. So coming to how to move to abroad, or what is the process, the first thing you need to decide is the country you want to move to, because each country has its own advantages and disadvantages, and the right country for you is depending on your long-term goals. So let's say if your long-term goal is to settle down, countries like Canada and Australia are a very good choice. But if your long-term goal is to just to get an exposure, go and study and just come back without spending so much, European countries like Germany are a good choice. And taking USA for example, it has you can if your goal is to study and then work for some time and then come back. US countries like USA are a good choice, because immigration and settling down takes a very long time and it has its own visa issues. So you need to choose a country depending on your long-term goals, and one country is not fit for all. So you have to weigh your long-term goals and decide a country. And after you decide a country, the second thing is you need to decide what kind of department you want to study, either agronomy, plant science, or pathology, entomology, genetics. What kind of program you want to study in, what department you want to study in. So the third thing after that is to choose a university depending on several factors. So choosing a university differs, because every university again it differs based on the state they are in. The expenses, the tuition fee, the fees differ. The expenses, living expenses to live in that particular state differs, and also oh, the weather in those states differ, and some rules and regulations if studying in particular states differ from state to state. So you need to choose list out shortlist a few universities you want, to 5 to 6 universities ideally, and then start applying to those universities. So while choosing universities, you need to choose at least two safe universities, two moderate universities, two ambitious universities. From my suggestion, based on your profile, when I say safe universities, it's you have more than 70 to 80% chances. Moderate universities are those where you have around 50% chances. Ambitious universities are those where you have less than 20% chances based on your profile. So you always need to diversify the type of universities you want to apply in, and apply to those universities. And then coming to the programs here, there are two different types of programs in masters majorly: non-thesis and thesis. The application process is pretty much simple and straightforward, where you go on to make an application directly on the university's website. And here you won't have any entrance examinations. But the only difference between non-thesis and a thesis program is in non-thesis programs you won't do any research, so you won't need a professor to guide you in your master's program. In thesis programs you will do research either from day one, or in second or third semesters, and then you will write a thesis and then submit to the university to be able to graduate. And in order to do that, you need a professor to act as your guide or advisor, just like in India. So you need to reach out to professors and write emails to them and asking for them to accept as you as a student to be, and for them to be your supervisor or guide for this master's program. So you need to write a good statement of research or like statement of intent describing why you are interested in that particular department and that particular professor's research. How could it benefit you, and what skills you can bring to that particular professor's lab, and how it could benefit them. So you need to write a very good cover letter kind of thing, and reach out to the professors. I would say keep your options open, even if you're interested only in pathology. Sometimes it's very difficult to get process acceptance. So you keep your options open, and try to apply to different programs like agronomy, genetics, and other programs too. But majorly agronomy, plant breeding and genetics, pathology, entomology, soil science. These are the popular programs, and you'll find more opportunities here. So the process is, again, like I said, pretty straightforward. Depending on the type of program, non-thesis or thesis, you get the professor's approval, and then you go onto the website and you make an official formal application. You need to submit your transcripts, you need to submit your letters of recommendations, and you need to submit your IELTS, GRE, or TOEFL scores, depending on what are the requirements. So that's the basic, how to apply for these universities. And again, depending on the university, and depending on the country, the type of programs will be different. In countries like UK, you'll have only 1 year masters, and in countries like Germany, you'll do research from second year sometimes. And then in countries like Canada and the US, you'll do research from day one. So mostly you'll find scholarships or funding to be able to study here. For thesis programs and non-thesis programs will not have those kind of fundings, because there will be no research, and resulting there will be no research grants for students studying in non-thesis programs. So but countries like Canada, you will find a very few non-thesis programs, and in countries like US, you'll find more number of universities offering agriculture, and more number of thesis and non-thesis programs you can find in the US. So here you can also work part-time. Again, depending on the country, there will be differences in the number of hours you can work, and also if you can work outside the campus or not. They differs from country to country, and in Canada you can work 20 hours. So you'll find a lot of part-time jobs on the campus itself. Even in the US, where you can work only on campus, you'll find a lot of research assistant jobs, teaching assistant jobs, or in different departments, in libraries, in different jobs on campus, where you can work for 20 hours during the semester, and full time up to 40 hours full time during the semester break. Uh, so you can also support your living expenses through getting through working part time. So one thing I would not suggest is trying to pay your tuition fee by working part time, because it takes a lot of time, and then you cannot put that effort and focus into your studies, and you lose valuable time. So I would suggest, if you're really not financially sound enough, I would say take a loan, but not try supporting yourself, or paying your tuition fee by working part time. So and then after your masters, you can, depending on the type of department or type of program you did, there'll be plenty number of jobs in differing in, in countries, again differing in the states. In some countries, like in Canada, you'd find more number of jobs in a few prairie states like Alberta, Saskatchewan in Canada. And then in US, you'd find more in like northeastern states rather than southwestern states. So again, depending on the type of program you do study, generally you can find jobs like agronomist, research associate. You can find jobs in production and supply, like operation specialist, what I'm doing, and also seed production agronomist, in both demand planner, supply planner, those type of jobs. And also you can find jobs in sales and marketing, like sales and service representatives, and sales agronomists, and marketing, in marketing jobs too. So it's a little bit different, how to get a job. Like you won't have any campus placements like in India, but here you have to, after your masters, you have to apply for jobs by yourself. So you need to be very careful. So you should start looking for jobs, or what kind of jobs are available for you, and start applying even before you graduate. So here, you won't it's not very easy sometimes because of huge competition we have, and also because of our immigrant status, especially where you have in jobs like agriculture, where you have to go and meet the customers. You are expected to have some kind of local knowledge. So because of the disadvantage we have being international students, sometimes it gets very hard. So you need to uh, build the network, and get a reference while you're applying for the jobs. These references, here recommendations, might not necessarily get you the job itself, but will get you the chance for interview, where you can display your skills, and you can get a job. So one common way is to build that network through LinkedIn. Students here, and all the working professionals are extensively active on LinkedIn, where they build that network, reaching out to people who are working, and then they maintain that relationship. And then when it's time for you to apply jobs, you can reach out to the people in your professional network and ask for a reference. So depending on the countries, the salaries differ. The salaries, anyway, ranges starting from like $50,000 to $70,000, depending on your background, the profile, your previous experience, if you have any in India, all those sort of things. And then after your masters, you will also have the opportunity to pursue PhD right away. Again, the similar process, you need to find a professor, because almost all of the PhD programs are completely research based, where you need to find a professor. Again, very similar. You need to reach out to them and discuss the opportunities for them, for you to be able to work under them, or for them to be able to be your supervisor. So you have various skills, where your skill set will help you to get these kind of jobs. Either you need to decide if you're going for PhD, both things are possible.